Good morning. Welcome back. Happy fall. Happy beautiful late summer day. Congratulations to those of you who got here this morning without getting soaked. And if you did get soaked, thank you for your dedication. I'm glad you're here. I'm Phyllis Newbill. I am the Associate Director of Educational Networks and Impacts at ICAT, at the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts within ICAT. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. First, we are videoing this morning, so your image is going out to the online right now. And good morning to those of you who are watching online. I'm glad you're here as well. But just realize this is a 360 camera, so your image is out there along with everybody who's up front. And behave accordingly. It will exist on the internet afterwards. Be sure you sign in. I think the sign-in sheet has gone most of the way around. Enjoy donuts and coffee. If you have questions, we'd love to hear your questions. If you're online, I hope you'll use that questions link to get those questions into us. If you have questions, just wait for me to get to you with the mic so that the folks online can hear you. And if you're here to also get Professional Development Network credit, just make sure that I see that and give you your credit for faculty members who are here. If you haven't signed in yet or haven't registered yet, you can still do that. There's a QR code on the clipboard. Winnie is also here with us this morning. Winnie belongs here. Winnie lives here and owns the place. So just know that that's normal, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna turn it over. This morning we are starting off with the introduction to ICAT and what we're doing this year. And we're gonna kick it off with Ben Knapp.
Hey, good morning, and thank you so much for braving the weather. As Phyllis said, we just had a monsoon about, 10 minutes ago, and there's a wonderful gentleman in the audience whose pants are now wet up to his kneecaps from coming across, so I really, really appreciate it. And this is Playdate, and we'll be having these throughout the whole semester. After today, we'll have some amazing, amazing speakers talking about interdisciplinary projects. But today, really, I want to actually start with the Playdate itself. And the interesting thing about the Playdate is if you look around me, there's people on stage here, there's people over there, and since you have a 360 camera, you can slowly pan over and look at the people over there, and there's a bunch of people on the table back over there. And the most normal thing to say is, oh, they all help put this on, and that is true. And if we want to carve up the word interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, they're the other disciplines that make something happen. But the Playdate is more than that. The Playdate actually looks like it looks right this second because of the 360 camera, because of the branding that you see on the screen, because of the table that's set up over there. And these are all ideas that were thought up by individuals that contributed those ideas towards the whole. And we all went, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. Oh yeah, we should call it a Playdate. That's a great idea. Oh, let's have it over in here, the CID. Well, that's a great idea. It wasn't one person coming up with all these ideas and then all the disciplines helping. It was all the disciplines coming up with all these great ideas that we never would have thought of alone. And obviously, you know where I'm headed. That is a really hard thing to do. The Playdate is a hard thing to create. It's a hard thing to sustain. It's been an amazing time. Last semester we got, Dylan, how many hits did we get last semester?
Across all Playdates?
Across all Playdates.
Perhaps for about 80,000, I would say.
So we had 80,000 people watching Playdates, which is, I mean, if I had said that 15 years ago, that would be like, how in the world would you fit that many people in this room? It's absolutely amazing, but it's all these different people. But this is hard, and what ICAT is a place that doesn't know how to use a space bar. That's what it is. Let's try that one more time and with feeling. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put my cursor over there. Now let's try spacebar. Yeah, there we go. So ICAT really came into being 11 years ago in order to help all of you, faculty and students, really do this true transdisciplinary work, not just having more than one person on a team solving a problem, but really coming up with ideas that nobody would have ever thought of. And that's really, really what we are, and we try to create this fellowship, as it says up there. And we really have a mission, and the mission is sometimes in line with Virginia Tech, because Virginia Tech is known a lot as a problem-solving university, where Virginia Tech. But where it's not necessarily always in line is sometimes it's just about trying new things, not trying to solve a problem, just trying new things, trying something different, exploring. And that's even harder. So you have now a transdisciplinary team exploring things that may not have any particular problem that it's solving. And so that's really what ICAT has been put into being, is really to help you do that. And so today we're going to talk about some pieces of that. Really the question is, so how do we help you? What can you do to enable us to help you more? That's what we're really going to be talking about over the next 10, 15 minutes or so. Just one slide really on some of the impact that we've had. And again, every single slide has been put together by various people, spending a lot of time with all of the data and all the information here. But this is a slide that basically shows you that over 10% of Virginia Tech faculty have been involved in some way or another with ICAT across 9 colleges, 62 departments. We've had 400 students involved, which is, again, a big chunk of students that really are interested in trying to do something different. Is it beyond boundaries? Is it, what is the euphemism we're going to use? It's somehow trying to investigate, explore something that they wouldn't have had a chance to do without the help of ICAT. Within ICAT, by the way, just to let you know, we have 3 centers, and those are there basically to explore different aspects of this boundary between creativity, arts, design, technology, humanities. So we have the Center for Human-Computer Interaction, a brand new Center for Future of Workplaces and Practices, and a Center for Educational Networks and Impacts that explores things like we'll talk about in a moment today. We're going to have a Playdate for each one of these centers. So I'm not going to spend very much time on these today. If you have any questions at the end, please feel free to ask. But these centers are there. They're faculty and students from across the whole university involved in each one of them. So the first thing that we can do to help you is help you support students, help you support travel, help you support equipment, help give you some time. And so I was wondering, what does it take at ICAT to do that? Because why are all these people up here right now? What are they doing? Well, I mean, all of these people are different. We're all here to help you, and we're filling different roles to do this kind of center or institute within a university. So, Melissa, I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about, some of the opportunities. What does it take to apply, and specifically any dates that are coming up and things like that? And also, just what do you do? How do you help faculty and students apply for these things?
So I'm Melissa Wires, and I am the Business Operations Coordinator for ICAT, and that's just a fancy title to say I'm one of a team of 2 that do the budget, financial, and kind of HR for ICAT. Now we have some support at a higher level for a little bit of that, but that's basically what I do. So internally to our team, I support by hiring all of those 406 students. Well, maybe not all of them. Some of them are on projects, but we do hire a significant amount of students, and that kind of goes through us. And then the other half of my job is seed grants, which is what you see behind us. So I'll start with, I'm going to skip the majors for a minute, and I'll start with the minis because that's the next one that's coming up. If you are a faculty member, we do award mini seed grants. We do them in the fall and we do them in the spring. They are going to be $6,000 a piece. Just We recently raised that amount to, inflation. We have to raise our grant our grant awards too. And so the date that those they're available up on the website already. You can go to icat.vt.edu/funding.
There's a QR code right there for
Yep.
you.
Or just, go on the ICAT website and look for that too. But you can download the papers that you need to submit that, and you'll submit those directly to me, and all of that information is on there. So the date of those that's going to be due September the 15th. And these are just like 5-page, 3-page proposals. I mean, it's not like you're submitting to an NSF grant. So, and then we review those and we'll award them and get that money. The way we handle that is we send that over to your department for ease of your use. You don't have to come through us to purchase or hire or any of that. We send it to your department. So if you're interested in a mini grant or you have questions, please just email me. The next one for any students in the group are student proposals. We gave you a little bit longer. Actually, the date behind me is a little off. They're going to be due September 29th, and that is on our website. And those are specifically for students, for your own work, something you've been thinking about, you want to try, you want to see, if you can make it work. Those are $1,000. Again, that's already up on the website, and you can download what you need to fill out and send to us and hopefully get a student award. We've had some amazing student projects that have come through. I'll go back and talk about the majors. We've already awarded majors for this fiscal year. Those are usually $25,000. Occasionally we have a specialty award with another department where it's more than that. But we've already awarded those. So they will open up again. That call will go out in November. And then the proposals will be due at the end of January, so January 31st. And those are a much bigger award. There's a lot more requirements, and those are specifically for faculty members. Not that you don't hire students on it, but those are for faculty. And then so we will award them in February, March timeframe, and then they don't actually start until July 1st. So next summer, July 1st of 2024, you could be ready for next fiscal year. So just to kind of give you a heads up of what we get, we had about 25 submissions this year. We awarded 9 out of 25. 5 of those were full awards and 4 were partial awards. So it's pretty good competition. So hone up on your writing skills if you want to have one of those, because it matters.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate you applying for them. I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. We are the cute, adorable little institute amongst the 4 investment institutes. So we would always love to fund all of them, but unfortunately we can't. But we get some really, really good proposals. And one of the things that I should mention is, for those of you that are watching afterwards, we also we invest in all of you to do great works. And what we want to do after you do the great works is talk about your work and how wonderful and how amazing, how you published these papers, you got this grant, you did this performance, you did this incredible showcase. Those kind of things we need to brag about, and it's up to all of you to give that back to us. So one of the frustrations we have is just trying to get that amazing information back out of you after you've done your amazing projects. And matter of fact, we have, I'm gonna just put up some seed grants, but while I'm doing that, this just gives you a list of folks from this past year. I kind of wanted to ask Rodney and Dylan, I mean, one of the things I just said is, one of the things we can help you is showcase your work internally to VT, showcase your work nationally with national organizations, showcase your work internationally, talk about it, send people your way, say, oh my gosh, there's this amazing stuff that's happening. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what your guys' roles are in terms of marketing and working with the website and things like that.
Yeah, I'll start off. Previously, before we were blessed with Rodney's presence, I was kind of stuck with a lot of documentation for a lot of projects to put online. Very rarely did they get the attention they deserved to be documented well? Because there was so much volume of things. So it just really came down to what the researchers gave us. Sometimes they'd give us really good stuff that just made the page. Sometimes it was a bit more of a puzzle to tell that story. But now Rodney's here, and I think that we're gonna start taking a look at those types of things, and I'll let him introduce himself and talk about that.
Thank you, Dylan. Hi, everybody. My name is Rodney. I'm the communications coordinator. I usually hear, and I'll probably butcher that quote or that saying, I usually hear people saying, if a tree fell in the forest and nobody heard it, did it really fall? So really the work that we do, the work that I do with communications is, just like Ben said, the good work you do, if nobody hears about it, it doesn't really matter that much. It only matters to you, but if you did it for people, people have to see it, people have to hear it. And so in my position, the things that I'm doing are related to documenting the work you do properly and presenting it to the world in a way that makes sense. And so you will start seeing emails coming from me, especially for faculty members. You'll start getting emails from me asking you to send me data in a specific way. Please don't get mad at me. It's just a way we want to make sure that your work is showcased to everybody in a right way. And so we want to communicate the good work that you're doing, because without your work, we are not here. We're not gonna do anything. And so I work with Dylan, and most of the things that we do, we push it through website, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I appreciate your guys' work. As we said, the work over the past couple years has really just shown itself through the amount of media that we get, the media hits we get on our website. One interesting story about ICAT is, I don't remember how many years ago it was, about 6 or 7 years ago, we had a company, Steelcase, just looking across the internet for stuff. It's interesting stuff to happen and to partner with. And they came across ICAT's website and your all's work, and they go, wow, we want to engage with all of you. And 7 years later, they're still working with faculty in interior design, faculty in engineering education. So they're still working with faculty across Virginia Tech. So it's really important that you get us that information so we can brag, as I always say, brag about you, brag about the work that you're doing, because to the single company, every one of them says, we have never experienced the kinds of collaboration we see at Virginia Tech. Wow, you can bring in somebody from the School of Visual Arts, combined with somebody from the School of Medicine, combined with somebody in agriculture. We've just never seen that before. That doesn't happen at other universities. And that's why we're fortunate to have something like ICAT to really help do that kind of work. We also have space and spaces that all of you can use, some of the most unusual studios in the country, and I was wondering, Gustavo, if you could just talk for a minute about the studios.
Hi, I'm Gustavo Arauz, and I am the Facility and Production Coordinator for ICAT. Big part of my responsibility is managing all the studios that we have. We have several studios in 3 buildings across campus, not counting the CID, which we also sort of work in. But we have DICES in the library. We have the Cat Box, which was a cinema room, which is now working on a lot of computer imaging and working in the CT sphere, as well as we have another classroom over there that teaches CT. We have the Sandbox, where we've just installed a dance floor and half of our cyclorama 180-degree immersive screen system. We have the Learn Labs, where SENI is moving in with all their students, and they're starting to work in a large sort of open pool, which is really exciting, where they've got room to spread out and work. We have Perform Studio, where we can work on motion capture and audio, and of course the Cube, where we do large-scale installations, custom work, really interesting production, music, all sorts of stuff. So it's really a a really wide variety of facilities and equipment that we have available for researchers and students to come use, and I am the central clearinghouse for that. People come to me and I help allocate all the resources to the best of our ability to all the people who are needing them. So I interface with almost everyone.
Gustavo has one of the most difficult tasks on campus, along with Kevin Ayub, if Kevin is here, but I don't see him right this second. Oh, there's Kevin. At universities especially, sharing lab space is not something that faculty and students are used to doing. Again, it's how do you do transdisciplinary work? You have to have a transdisciplinary space. And how do you do that? Pretty much universities, and every one of you has heard me say this, I'm sure, universities are used to Ben Knapp having the Ben Knapp lab that he runs, and it's just his, and nobody else gets to touch it. And then I go back to my own office with my fireplace, and that is the 12th century, 13th century mode of how things work. But to have a $15 million cube, I mean, I suppose every one of us would just love to have that for ourselves, or to have this incredible maker space over here. We'd all like to have one for ourselves, but we can't do that. Nor do I think we really want to do that. We really want, I mean, the cube is this incredible space where, you know, Dylan is sick of me saying it, but every time I walk into the cube, my jaw drops on the floor, whether it's marimbas everywhere or whether it's, you know, this incredible virtual reality play or whatever it is. I just never know what I'm going to see, and that's because of all the people there. And I was wondering, Tanner, actually, if you could just talk about your role in some of the technologies, your role with the faculty and your role with some of the things that we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, I'm Tanner Up the Grove, the immersive audio specialist, and not here today is David Franisich, who's kind of my counterpart. Also, we've got Brandon Hale at the audio board and TNU. So between us and other GAs, we're here to help use these facilities, use the technologies, specifically immersive multimedia technologies in the studios. We're here to help you use those if you don't know how to use them. If you know how to use them, then here's the keys, have fun. But we can collaborate with you as a partner on your project, whether it's in our facility or going after grant money, or we can help you in the studio technologically or whatever you need. So we're here to help with all these fun toys we have in the studios.
And what's neat about Tanner's role and David's role, by the way, congratulations, David. There is a new miniature member of ICAT that just came into being a couple days ago, and now 50,000 people will know about it. But what's really neat is that their role is to be a member of your team. So you'll see seed grants. You can submit seed grants with them on the team because they're working with you, alongside of you, to make new discoveries, new performances, new things that haven't existed before. And with that, too, I think one of the big pieces of what we do is really also trying to develop a community. So the community is, for us, is a combination of everything you've just heard so far. It's what Rodney and Dylan do in terms of getting the word out. It's engaging with folks and bringing them in so that they can see that, just as Rodney said about the tree in the forest, if we don't engage K through 12, if we don't engage university students, are these things really, if we don't engage and create a community of the general public, are these things really, really happening? And so Phyllis, yeah, I was wondering if you could just talk for a couple seconds about some things that are coming up and also just what you do.
Sure, thank you. I'm Phyllis Newbill, as I introduced earlier. I'm the Associate Director of Educational Networks within CENI, and we have a number of activities during the semester and during the school year that connect what's the cool things that you all are doing with schools and museums in our community. So we manage a network of liaisons with several school systems and several museums. Coming up is Virginia Tech Science Festival on November 11th. Hope you'll all be there, either exhibiting or enjoying or both. ICAT Creativity and Innovation Day happens at the very end of the spring semester. And that one, if you have a seed grant, you will be there. That'd be awesome. Thanks for being there. But if you're also doing some other project that isn't already part of ICAT, we would love to have you show your things there as well. You're here at Playdates. That's a great start. Hokey for a Day field trips are with 5th graders. So we bring 5th graders in for a day from all of our local partner schools. They come in for a day and do a tour of Virginia Tech. They learn about what it is to be at college. They do have a bit that's like a science festival where they talk to people who are doing real projects. And then they go to lunch and talk to some athletes as well. So it's a great little introduction to Virginia Tech. Spatial Music Workshop and Cube Fest are not part of my portfolio, but there are also ways that we reach out to the community, and we're so glad to have all those pieces. Do you want me to hand off to Tanner for spatial music?
Sure. Well, I mean, we don't know what to do, but
Yeah.
I can basically say that the Spatial Music Workshop and the Cube Fest that'll be a year from now, well, next summer, is going to be working with indigenous artists, bringing them to Virginia Tech, and it's going to be a really amazing. I mean, they're already signing up and they're already looking to perform here, so I think that'll be incredible. But it's up to us to really help you reach out to these communities, all these different communities, and Phyllis just gave me the 925 thing, which is a giant hook. And this is the penultimate slide, which, by the way, penultimate was a word that I, for the most of my life growing up in West Virginia, thought it meant very top, but then somebody explained to me that it's the second from the top. So anybody in the audience that's living their life with the wrong definition, I just wanted to get you. But the second to last slide here is we have started a new initiative a couple years ago. We're having some help from the School of Performing Arts to help us start to reach out and create connections across universities and other places as a formal program. So one of the hard things for our performing artists, and to a certain extent our visual artists, is to find venues. And so one of the roles that I've certainly taken on is, alongside the amazing work that all of you are already doing, is to try to get venues to work with us. And you all know that we have done Accelerate with bringing in you to 30,000 people in the Washington, D.C. area. We have a new project that's just started with a torpedo factory to showcase your work there in the Alexandria area, right near the Innovation Campus. So that's really what we're all about. I could only touch a little bit in these 25 minutes, but I just wanted to introduce you to some of the team. There's a lot more of the team that's sitting, and I'm looking at right now. By the way, I'm just also looking at this incredible room, and I'm wondering if anybody in here is from the same department. I almost don't think so. I think that you're all from different departments in different areas across campus, which is amazing. So these are some of the members of the team that help make all of this happen. And with that, I'm going to stop and hand it back to Phyllis and see if you have any questions. I can keep this one.
Take this one back. Sorry. We have time for maybe 2 questions, certainly 1. Who's got a question for the ICAT team? I'm coming to you, Justin.
Oh, okay. Thank you. For the funding and the HBCU collaboration, is that only for professors, or can graduate students try to go for those grants as well? Thank you.
So the question was about the HBCU collaboration grant, and I have to do a shout out, by the way, to ICTAS, who we partner with on this. It's an amazing program. We have a couple projects that just started that are really amazing projects. The answer, Justin, is that it has to be led by a faculty member. And honestly, a lot of that has to do with just who has to be ultimately responsible and things like that for finances and all that kind of good stuff. But absolutely, any student in here that's interested in kicking a faculty member and saying, hey, we should go do this, please do that. We pretty much, I would say, for all the students that are listening to this, most of the faculty funding that happens with that and the other grants goes to supporting students. So it's what we do. And matter of fact, we also have a donor who helps support summer program for undergraduate students to have a job during the summer as well. So, that's there. I don't know if that was up on the screen or not, but we have that program as well. But long-winded way to say yes, students can get involved, but unfortunately, you must work through the faculty member, or fortunately.
Okay, we are at time, so I encourage you to hang around and have more donuts. I encourage you, if you're online and need professional development network credit, just send me a note using the questions or to my email. And I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week, where we'll be talking about that torpedo factory experience in Alexandria. So, all right.